Okay, welcome to another installment of IT Fundi. Today we'll be talking about a very interesting topic concerning OpenMRS, and this is the implementer tools. And so in OpenMRS, I've made several videos with the difference between a developer and an implementer. An implementer basically is a role where someone makes more of configurations other than code changes. And there is a whole app that was built into OpenMRS basically for this, and there are two ways of accessing it. There's a little symbol right here that you can click, and it would open up configurations, front end, back end, and feature flags. We'll talk a bit about this, and also we'll be going through the repo to understand how does an implementer find what to configure. So as you can see, it's a public archive, and it was more or less moved to core, I think. But yeah, move to core. Let's see if that navigates to the right place. Yeah, I don't see it there. But basically, it's a public archive and it was moved. But the tool is still very existent in OpenMRS. So what does this help with? So like I said, there are two ways. You can either access it via implementer tools here, or for the light brain hack, you can get one of these. So we had talked about the different modules that are in OpenMRS front end. There are many of them, and as you can see, they are listed here. Bed management, for example, bed management. If you want to see that, you would have to go to, let's see if I can remember. Just close this. Yes, bed module. Yeah, system administration. Yes. And then you can see it load up. It's a dev server, so it's a bit slow. So you can see bed management right there. There's the OCL, there's billable services, stock management, form builder, and so on. So when you go to implementer tools, you can see front-end modules. So you've seen some of them. I've talked about bed management and others, as you can see. So let me say you want to change something. I'll show you where this is the side for configuration, and of course we'll see here in the UI what that means and how you can make code changes to that if you desire so, or how that comes about to have some of those features. So just looking at the backend modules, you can see some that are RESTful and others that support Fire2. These are two different standards for accessing data, REST, and also I made a video about that. You can kind of look at it, navigating around OpenMRS repos, the basic intro to that. So here as well, you can see some support Fire, some support REST. Feature flags. What is a feature flag? So basically, a feature flag is a mechanism that is implemented, and it allows administrators to basically manage how some information is showed on the patient chart without necessarily making code changes. For example, I'll show you one where, depending on the pronunciation. I was bashed for the way we pronounce some of these words. Patient identifier sticker, and this basically helps to print if you have a card and you would like to see how that looks like. And then you can go ahead to select the kind of printer and some of the other information. So if I want to disable that, because that at least I know is enabled via a feature flag, so I would go and you can see patient identifier sticker. So it's also very critical to know what these things, how it takes some time to learn how things are named and what the naming conventions are. Because if they say something like patient identifier sticker, it may not be named the best way, but basically, since I've done some implementation of that, I understand where it is. So when you turn that off and then close, when you go back here, you'll find it isn't there. It's disabled. So it's enabled under feature flags, as you can see right there. And if you click on that, it needs a refresh. Let me just do that. And as we're doing demo videos, sometimes things may not go as expected. I do not know why that is behaving that way. Patient, oh, I enabled the wrong thing. My bad. patient identifier sticker is right there. So I also wanted you to have a look at when it comes to the configuration side of things. So each of these things that you can see on the screen have what they call properties that can be enabled. For example, when you're dealing with the appointments app, you can allow all day appointments. You can set this to true or false. And when you notice, if you try to edit that, you can make a change and say maybe enable or disable or cancel. And then you can download the config in JSON and then add it to that particular app and then have the configuration set. I'll show you how that can be done. Then there's bed management. The one in particular I had opened here is the patient chart. So you can search for that. You can come and type the word chart, ESM patient chart. It has quite a number of things. So you can see there's the action menu. If you want to see one of the tools in the implementer tools that's very useful is if you want to see how things are, how they are labeled. When you enable the UI editor, you can see what is named as what. It's a very useful tool. It can help you understand which part is named what. So you can also start speaking like a guru when you're talking about OpenMRS. Like it's located in the global nav menu slot or something of that sort. Yeah, you can flex. Let me just close that. So when you minimize, okay, so you can see there are these different extension slots. I wanted to show you there's the header slot. There is top of all, like you could see in the UI editor. I encourage you to have a look. You can disable and enable things. For example, if there is the logo and you want to understand how that look works, you can see the logo here, the alternative text, the name. You can also set the source. Of course, some of these are able to display because they come preset in OpenMRS, so you can also edit those. The one I wanted in particular, okay, basically you can see all these things that you can change. So when you come to the code, let me say the ESM patient chart. I'll navigate back to the root. That open. So when you navigate back to the root, you'll see a number of things here. I want you in particular to turn your focus to let me just see how I navigated back. Sometimes it's interesting. So you go to packages, and then under packages there are these different apps in the patient chart. Like you have form entry, like you can see this patient chart is made up of very many smaller apps. Like for example, allergies, which is a small app in and of itself. So you can see the patient chart is quite big. Primary navigation is also another thing you can look at. So what I was saying, when you navigate into the patient chart and you look at these different apps, if you go to the chart app particularly, or the banner app, let me say, and you go to source, which is SRC, and you go to config-schema.ts, you can see patient identifier sticker and what information can be configured. You see they tell you the type. So of course this is in TypeScript. They tell you the type and other stuff, but in particular here you're focusing at what properties does it support. So it does support showing the logo, which can be on and off. It does support showing the barcode, which is true, can be set to true or false. I have some excited animals in the neighborhood. You can have, so basically you can set the page size, print scale. So these are the properties that you can configure. And when you go back here and you look at the, let me see, I hope I can get there quick enough so that doesn't become a lengthy video. Patient identifier sticker. I hope it's somewhere here. Of course it takes some time to navigate around. Just see if I can just search directly for sticker. What is the app called? So it's called ESM banner app. So I would go to banner app. So when you click on the banner app, you see patient banner, and then see if there's an the sticker patient ID. You see the sticker right there, and like I said, it's showing barcode. So when you toggle this, for example, you can download the JSON and add it to this config for the schema.ts. So okay, basically this enables the config, but you can set the properties within the code base. But basically our focus is, I'm just trying to show you how it works on the other code side of things. There is a different way of adding it, but basically this configuration enables you to have this available to the page size, print scale, like I had said. Like you can see all through here, right? Yeah, so you can see those different properties. So this applies, I encourage you to like go through this applies to all the packages. For example, if it's the patient chart, or if it's the lists, or if it's the notes. So these different apps, like I said, if you want to understand what is what, when you do this UI editor, and let me close this, you can see, of course, some of them. Visit note is there, clinical forms. Not all of them are named though, but as you can see, at least you have an idea of what slot is where. So it gives you a bit of an idea. It's some massive amount of work that was done to enable this. Yeah. The other bit I would like you to also learn about is when you click on a particular app and you want it to get translated. So there's a way of adding it to the front end config. That's a whole different video. Just put it in the comments if you would like that. So OpenMRS is localized and has very many languages. Let me just toggle this UI editor off. And if you go right there and try to change the language, you can see a list of very many languages: French, Hebrew, Spanish, British English, and so on. So you can also see each of these contains a list in the form of, let me say Arabic, or let me go to Hebrew. It looks a bit cool. So there are key value pairs in this JSON file, where you have the key, and this key is of course it also takes some time to understand what the keys are named as, and as well as the translation you would want. So when someone does the other change, you're able to see. So there is a very interesting thing I would like you to see as we try to finish, so that it's not such a lengthy video. It was called the banner app. So when you click on the banner app, at the bottom there is a little feature called translation overrides, and when you read that, you can read that it says, like you can see, it disappears and appears. So it say so here you can add a translation overrides in that particular app, so that you can add translations that pertain to so there are keys as well. So there is the EN and FR, and these translations pertain specifically to the locale you want to change to. Yeah, there's a lot that you can explore, but at least now you know the structure, that that in every app you have a translation overrides, and you also have a config.ts schema, and that config.ts schema, okay, the ts config, I said that wrongly, but no, I don't think that's the one. Sorry, you go within the to see what it is. Yeah, so it's a config.ts schema. I was right. So yeah, so you can actually learn for those two. I wanted to show you the translations and how the configs are made. SRC, and into it you have the config.ts schema and also translations. If you want more videos like this, subscribe and also hit down in the comments. Thank you for being here. Ciao.